Hello and welcome to the AVRUM ROSENSWEIG show.
Welcome to one of the internet's best podcasts, where we dive deep into the lives of the extraordinary and fascinating people who leave an indelible mark on our world. Join us as we explore their captivating stories, remarkable achievements, and unique perspectives that shape history and inspire generations. Get ready to embark on a journey through the lives of inspiring people unlike any other.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the show. My name is AVRUM ROSENSWEIG, and I'm just delighted to have you here. For those who celebrated Passover, happy Passover. And for those who celebrated Easter, I hope you had a beautiful one. You know, in the introduction to this show, we use the word fascinating. And this show that we're doing today, this episode is nothing less than that. In a moment, I'm going to introduce to you the guests that we have on the show today, as well as the organization that they work with, and one individual who actually launched it, founded it, and built it. This is going to be an amazing interview, and I ask everybody please to listen to it and then listen to it again and see what you can take out of it, because today we will be speaking with our brothers and sisters from Rwanda, individuals who both participated in the genocide against Tutsis in 1994 and victims of that genocide. We also have with us a marvelous human being, Albert Rutinkanga, who is the founder of the organization called Peace Education Initiative Rwanda, whom we will speak with shortly. I'd like to give a little bit of an introduction to what we're doing here, because we are really a part of something very, very special today. Listen very closely. Peace Education Initiative Rwanda is a non-governmental organization that is engaged and dedicated to preventing genocide and mass atrocities through education. The organization empowers their community with a non-violent means of resolving conflict, building trust, and promoting trauma healing. They have a village of reconciliation where they are able to unify former perpetrators and survivors of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis. They now live together in the very same village. This organization is focused on healing wounds caused by the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis in Rwanda. They work with the community, which is comprised of genocide survivors and former perpetrators who confessed their role during the genocide against the Tutsis in Rwanda. Now, Albert Rutinkanga is the individual who started up this entire movement. He's the founder and the executive director of Peace Education Initiative Rwanda. He led the development of peace education work in peace building, reconciliation, healing, and storytelling, forgiveness, social economic development, and human rights education. Albert was trained as a teacher, securing a bachelor's degrees in French, English, with education. He worked as a coordinator in former Rukara district, where he held a position in helping genocide survivors and orphans who headed family and socially economic development, peace building, counseling, and reconciliation. Albert survived the Rwandan 1994 genocide against the Tutsis, where his parents and 70 members of his extended family were killed during that genocide against the Tutsis in Rwanda. Now, our panel today, including Albert, are individuals, again, who two were perpetrators of the genocide and one was a victim. Francois Mahangari, and I apologize if I'm not saying the name 100% correctly, was born at Rukara sector in Kayonza district. She helped her family with farming activities as the government at that time, and that's prior to the genocide, sent Tutsi children out of the schools. During the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis, she lost many family members. She hid in the bushes and was raped several times by killers who infected her with HIV that still affects her today. She currently participates in peace building activities together with others in Peace Education Initiative Rwanda under the Village of Reconciliation. And we extend to her a great big hug and thank you so much for joining us today. Nason Karenzi, and he's the one at the far right as you look at the screen. He was born in Rukara sector in Kayonza district. During the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis, Karenzi was 30 years old and he was married. He had 2 children. Before the genocide, he was a farmer. When the genocide started, he was involved in killing Tutsis, a role that he later confessed to. He participated in attacking Tutsis hidden in the neighboring Rukara Roman Catholic Church, where many Tutsis, including Albert's parents, went. Now he is a member of the Village of Reconciliation, initiated by Peace Education. He is involved in acts of reconciliation, where he preaches peace in the community, including youth, to rehabilitate a wounded community. We also have with us today Francois Rukwaya, who was born in Rukaya sector in Kayonza district. During the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis, Karenzi was 27 years old and was married. He had no child at that time. Before the genocide happened, he was a farmer. When the genocide started, he was involved in killing Tutsis, a role that he later confessed to. He participated in attacking Tutsis in the neighboring Rukara Roman Catholic Church, where many Tutsis, including Albert's parents, went for asylum. Now he is a member of the Village of Reconciliation, initiated by Peace Education. He's involved in acts of reconciliation, where he preaches peace and community, including youth to rehabilitate a wounded community. We have with us also Albert, another Albert, who is a translator, and we welcome him. Albert, the translator, how are you doing today?
I am very fine. How are you?
I am, thank God, doing well, and I want to thank you and Albert, the founder of the organization, for helping to put this together. You guys did a beautiful job. I'm very, very grateful.
Thank you.
Okay, we're ready to start with some questions. Here's how we're going to do this, folks. I am going to ask the question in English, obviously, and Albert is going to translate it for our guests. However, we're very fortunate that Albert Rutinkanga, the executive director of this organization, his English is actually beautiful. So let's start with him. Albert Rutinkanga, can you hear me okay?
I hear very well.
Well, Albert, firstly, I want to thank you so much for being part of this and for organizing this. And I want to give you a great big AVRUM ROSENSWEIG hug, because what you have done is absolutely magnificent. After losing 70 family members in 1994 in the genocide against the Tutsis, you could have come out of it just angry. You could have come out of it with great amounts of revenge in your heart. But you decided instead, I'm sorry, I'm very emotional here. You decided instead to try to change things in the country that you love so much. Tell us about the genocide and what happened to you in those 100 days.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to tell about our story. As I said, my name is Albert Rutinkanga. At that time of genocide, I was 17 years old. I was a teenager. My father was a teacher. My mother was a staying-home mom. I remember as it was happening yesterday. Actually, before genocide started, there were propaganda against the Tutsis. There is a radio station purposely spread hate speech. This is a RTLM. There is even a newspapers called Kangura, brought 10 commandment of Hutus, inciting Hutus to kill Tutsis. And again, in school, I remember there is dehumanization, where Tutsis were called the snakes, cockroach, and other dehumanized name, and humiliated the Tutsis in class. The list of Tutsis to be killed already made by killers, and Tutsis used to be considered second classes. Actually, when genocide started, when holidays of Easter, actually used it to listen to radio. I remember it was Thursday. It was on 7th April 1984. When I switched on the radio, I heard that the plane of President Habyarimana was shot down. I went immediately. I told my dad about that news. When he heard that news, he was scared. He said, "We are finished," because he knew that the Tutsis were targeted to be eliminated in a time. In a few minutes, we saw some Tutsis in our neighborhood, their houses burnt by militia. In the second minutes, we saw other Tutsis fled toward their home. Others went to Roman Catholic Church. Everyone was scared of what is going on. And our dad said, let us fled toward the Roman Catholic Church. To go to the church, it was not easy at all, because everywhere in the road, the government and militia, they set up red block. To pass to the red block, you have to show ID cards. And when you identify the Tutsis, you're automatically killed by a killer. So to go to the church, we passed on the bush, and we went there to the Roman Catholic Church. Actually, one question you can ask yourself, why people choose to go to the Roman Catholic Church? It's because normal Rwandans believe God, and 80% of Rwandans were Christians. We believe that when you go to the church, no one can kill us. We thought it was a safe area of God. We managed to pass on the bush, and we went to the church. When we reached there, we saw other many Tutsis who fled toward the Roman Catholic Church. Some come from Komine Muhazi, others come from Kayonza, and others from other direction near to the church. We passed night there. On the following day, I remember it was on 8th, we saw other Tutsis, big number of Tutsis fled toward the Roman Catholic Church. Those who didn't manage to come to the church were killed at home. And I remember around 4 p.m., there is attack of militia who came to the church. But Tutsis who were in the church tried to defend themselves. They pushed the attack. And when the attack of militia, they set up the fire to the house of Tutsis. On the following day, on the 9th, I remember it was on Saturday, we stayed at the church. When it came to around 4 p.m., there is a gathering meeting with the mayor of Komine Rukara and the commandant of Rwamagana military barracks. They had a meeting with Tutsi refugees. Tutsi refugees raised a question about the security. And in these churches, Tutsi had the cattle who were around, those cattle were around 3,000 cattle who were around the churches. They talked about the security and the water of the cattle. When Tutsi raised the questions, the commandant of barracks of Rwamagana said, why you fled? You killed the President Habyarimana. And the mayor of Rukara said, yeah, we're going to solve your problem. But they were lying, because then they went back. On only 20 minutes, we had a serious attack. The attack came in a different direction. They threw the grenade. At that time, around 12 people died. They killed people and slaughtered the cows and looted the cows who were around the church. Actually, the following day, we didn't receive attack. On 10th, we managed to bury those people who died. On 11th, we didn't receive attack, but the killing was going on for those who didn't manage to come to the church, and even the killing was going on in Gahini. Actually, when it came on the 12th, it was a terrible day to us. I remember actually when we were praying God around 5 p.m., we saw attack of militia. They came shouting. They had the code they used, IA, to intimidate Tutsis refugees. Actually, when they came, they threw the grenade, they set fire of the near houses of priests, and they killed many people, and they rape women, and they dug the internet cinema houses, they killed people, and the continued killing of no Satinists. On 14th, I remember actually it's around 11 a.m. we saw a heavy attack of militia. They came with a grenade, they came with guns, traditional weapons. They killed innocent people. They killed. It was a dangerous day compared to the previous one. I remember actually that day where they killed my dad. My dad was just reading a Bible, and he was killing at that time. And even me, the threw grenade, and the grenade had hit me my leg, and my mom that time died in that period of 14th. The killings was terrible. The rape woman, people died in a big number. It was a terrible day compared to the previous one. Actually, the militia killed in the church, surrounding the churches, cinema houses, maternities, and I have even some pictures which I should show you. It is a terrible. The militia killed even kill from 10 and even during evening. The killing going on even on 15th. On 15th, the militia continued killing, and actually when it came to around 5 p.m., we saw a vehicle of military came to the church where we were hiding. Actually, when the militia continued killing, there is a fighting between one patriotic front and government of genocide. When the RPF front bombed there, the militia ran away, and the military ran away as well. On 16th, around morning, few Tutsis were inside the churches decided to put dead bodies outside because dead bodies started to burst and with bad smell. And they decided to put outside there. They said at least international community should know what happened to Tutsis. When it came to around 11 a.m., we saw a line of Rwandan Patriotic Front, freedom fighters, RPF. They came to the church. There is few number of genocide survivors who were there to the church, but those who died, maybe they could be rescued, but because they didn't have a treatment, it was very complicated them to rescue them. So at that time on 16th, it is the time where I was rescued by Rwandan Patriotic Front. It's that time where even myself, they put me in Ghana to be treated. I spent like 6 months treated because I was injured by grenade. Actually, it was a very complicated time at that time because can you imagine having a number of 70 people of your family and extended family brutally killed by militia? And can you imagine to be orphan when you need to be helped by parents? It was very complicated. We survived, but we had physical and emotional wounds. We didn't have someone to take care of us, and our houses were completely demolished, and all property of Tutsis had been completely demolished. Cows were eaten by perpetrators. It was at that time actually life was very complicated. Being the head of family of family when you are a young, when you needed to be supported, it was a very complicated diet for as genocide survivors. Briefly, that the journey we went through as a genocide survivors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Albert. We're going to get back to you, excuse me, during the course of this interview. But let's just give a little bit of a context here, an overall context. I think the statistics generally say that in 100 days in 1994, during the genocide against the Tutsis, there were between 800,000 and 1 million people who were murdered. Are those the statistics that you use?
Actually, I can tell you that initially on remances, 1 million of Tutsi were brutally killed by militia. Can you imagine, for instance, in our region, Nirukara, where I was born and raised. The genocide started in the genocide started actually on the 7th, where rescued by the Rwandan Patriotic Front on the 16th. Can you imagine 10,000 of Tutsis were killed? And the genocide in 3 months took place in everywhere in Rwanda, Kigali, Eastern Province, Western. Actually, 1 million perished only in 3 months. Can you imagine the speed of killing? How genocide started on the 7th? It's the killing going on the same region in Kigali, in Western, everywhere the killing started. It was terrible.
I have to tell you something, man to man, the idea that you're standing and the idea that you built this organization after witnessing what you saw with great amounts of faith and hope in humankind, to me, that's absolutely astounding. So again, I give you a big AVRUM hug. Well done. We'll come back to you in a few minutes. Francois is with us. As I mentioned at the top of the show, during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis, she lost many family members. She hid in the bushes and was raped several times by killers who infected her with HIV/AIDS, and that still affects her to this day. Yet she decided that she was going to join this village, of which Albert started, and become a part of reconciliation. So, Francois, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Françoise, umeze ute? Nawe waje hano kwitabira iki kiganiro, hanyuma tuzi ubuzima wabayemo, ukuntu wihishe mu gihugu ukarinda n'ifatwa ku ngufu ukanduzwa indwara zidakira. Wakoze nawe kwitabira.
Yego, murakoze. Nanjye nitwa Muhongayire Françoise.
Thank you. My name is Françoise Muhongayire.
Ntuye mu karere ka Kayonza, umurenge wa Rukara.
I also live in Kayonza, Rukara village.
Nkaba nararokotse jenoside yakorewe Abatutsi 94.
I survived the genocide against the Tutsis in 1994.
Muri icyo gihe nari mfite imyaka 20.
At that time I was 20.
Ubuhamya bwanjye ndabuvuga mbere gato y'94.
Testimony before 1994.
Njyewe ntabwo nari nzi ubwoko bwanjye, nabumenye mu mashuri niga.
Me, I did not know which tribe I belonged to. I knew it when I was studying in a class.
Igihe bajyaga badutoteza, abarimu batubwira ngo Abatutsi n'Abahutu nibahaguruke. Ubwo ngubwo rero byakomeje gutyo bantoteza. Narigaga mfite ubwenge, ariko nza gutsinda, hagenda umwana w'umuhutu, nibwo namenye ubwoko bwanjye.
Then I remember one time I passed the national exams, but they rejected me and they only picked a Hutu to replace me.
Ibyo bintu rero byakomerekeje umutima wanjye kugeza n'iki gihe.
That is what hurted my heart even now.
Byakomeje gutyo bigeze muri 90, habayeho itotezwa ry'Abatutsi cyane.
When it came to 1990, Tutsis were tortured.
Batwitaga ibyitso. Icyo gihe habaye igihe cy'amashyaka akomeye, turahigwa cyane. Njye mu rugo rw'iwacu rero n'igihe basanzemo nari umwana muto, icyo gihe nari mfite imyaka 16.
They came to my home. They found me home. I was 16.
Hateye igitero kiza kimbaza inyenzi, nyoberwa ibyo ari byo.
Then an attack came to our home asking me about Nyens, but I was not aware of who they were.
Ubwo bahise bakubita urugi, baraza barankubita, barampohotera bikomeye. Muri icyo gihe nibwo bahereye ko banasahura iwacu.
The door, they entered in and they tortured me. They looted everything from my home.
Mu zindi ngo z'Abatutsi bamwe barafashe barabafungwa bikomeye, abandi barabica.
Other neighboring homes of Tutsi were arrested and sent to prison, and others were killed.
Ibyo rero byanteye ibikomere bikomeye mu buzima bwanjye. Bikomeje.
That is what made me to feel hurted.
Hakomezwa igikorwa cyo gutoteza Abatutsi kuko icyo gihe ubutegetsi bwari buriho ntabwo bwigeze bukurikirana ibyo bikorwa byabaye.
Torturing Tutsi continued because the government in place did not even play any role of stopping such kind of violence.
Byabaye gukomeza gutoteza abatutsi kugeza 94.
So, Tutsis kept on being tortured until 1994.
Jenoside rero yabaye mu Rwanda yarateguwe irigishwa ishyirwa mu bikorwa.
Genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda was prepared, and it was a long-term result of the propaganda that was spread.
Muri 1994 habayeho ikintu cyo gutsemba abatutsi burundu ntihagire niyo nkizasigara.
Then in 1994, they said that they are going to exterminate all Tutsi in a way that people will keep on asking how Tutsi looked like.
Nibwo ku itariki 7 bamaze kuvuga ko Habyarimana yapfuye.
On 7th, after saying that the plane of Habyarimana was shot down,
abatutsi bose bahuye n'akaga gakomeye.
Then all Tutsi got into a trouble.
Bahigwa buyoka batwica rubozo.
Then we were hunted and we were called snakes. They killed us.
Ngiye bitewe n'ihohoterwa nari nahuye naryo mbere, abatutsi umuryango wanjye n'abatutsi bose bahungiye mu kiliziya.
The torture I faced first, the whole of family of mine tried to find an asylum in a church.
Ngiye rero nahungiye mu mashyamba mu bihuru nihisha.
But me, I did not get a chance of getting to church. I used to hide myself in a bush.
Nahuye n'ihohoterwa rikomeye cyane, mfatwa ku ngufu, ndakubitwa, ndaraswa, ndatemwa.
In the bush, I met there some trouble. I was raped, I was beaten, I was tortured.
Nkuramo ibikomere bikomeye, nanduzwa indwara zidakira nka sida.
Then I got so many wounds that are even still shocking me now. I was infected with HIV/AIDS.
N'ubumuga butandukanye kugeza kuri isaha bukindimo.
And other kind of disability that are still affecting me now.
Hamwe n'abandi bagore n'abakobwa bahungiye mu bihuru.
Which is the case to all Tutsi women who fled to bush and
nabo bahuye n'ihohoterwa rikomeye bicwa urubozo.
As I faced, they were tortured.
Kugeza kuri isaha tukaba turimo gupfa kubera ibikomere twagiye duhura nabyo bikomeye.
Some have started dying because of such wounds.
Ubwo imiryango yacu bayitemeraga mu kiliziya.
Then
babica babatwika.
We were slaughtered in the church when we were hiding in the bush. I remember they told me that they burnt our family members in the church.
Ubwo abandi natwe twagiye twicwa urubozo mu gasozi, harokoka bakeya, ari nabwo nanjye narokotse.
Then others in the bush were tortured, as I said before. Then by chance I survived.
Ubwo rero nakomeje kugenda nihishahisha mpura n'ibitero, ariko Imana ibimfashamo. Igihe kiragera.
God helped me and the time came.
Mu kaga gakomeye twari turimo.
That kind of terrible darkness, that kind of hard period, hard time.
Inkotanyi zabohoye u Rwanda ziza
the RPF
zifata abantu
fighters rescued Rwanda and
abo zikura mu kiliziya basigaye, abo batoragura mu nzira batujyana i Gahini.
The Roman Catholic Church to see whether some survived.
Abari bahuye n'ibikomere bikomeye.
Used to see around that if there is someone who is still alive.
Bahuye n'ibikomere bikomeye babasha kubavuza. Nyuma batwiciraga nabo barahunga.
Us were taken to the hospital. Then those who were killing us, after getting that the freedom fighters have already reached the place, they started to
igihe kigeze rero
run away.
kubera leta y'ubumwe barahunguka bagaruka mu gihugu.
Then when the time came, because of the government of national unity, they tried to resettle them back.
Rero muri icyo gihe nahise mpura n'urugamba rukomeye nongera guhungabana nibutse ibyambayeho.
Then after they were settled back, I was again, I faced again a kind of trauma because I remembered what happened to me.
Muri icyo gihe rero abakoze ibyaha nabo barafashwe barahanwa. Asigaye natwe tubaho gutyo mu buzima bubi.
The perpetrators were arrested and punished, and on our side we kept on living hardships that were caused by this kind of hard life.
Njye nabayeho mu buzima bubi bukomeye cyane bitewe n'ibibazo nari nahuye nabyo n'uburwayi bukomeye.
I survived in the hardships connected to that kind of sickness that I acquired from the effect of genocide.
Naje gufashwa n'umuryango wo kubaka amahoro, waje uratwigisha utwigisha isanamitima, kubabarirana, gutanga imbabazi.
This organization, this Do Initiative Rwanda, that was training us to forgive and peace building, and that is how I tried to come back to the real life.
Tell her thank you very much, please. We appreciate what she said.
Murakoze cyane rwose Muruhangayire aragushimiye.
Murakoze.
She also thanks you.
Thank you. I'd like to move on to Nason Karenzi. We mentioned before that when the genocide against the Tutsis began, he was 30 years old and he was married and he had 2 children. Before the genocide, he was a farmer, but when the genocide started, he was involved in killing Tutsis, a role that he later confessed to. Nason Karenzi, thank you very much for joining us. I want to ask you, tell us please, where were you when the genocide started and what was your role with the Hutus?
Aravuga ati Karenzi, watubwiye yuko jenoside yabaye uri umugabo ufite abana 2, hanyuma akagira ati tubwire jenoside wari uri he cyangwa se ni iyihe nakaheka ni mbese nakaheka kawe muri ni uruhe ruhare rwawe muri jenoside?
Murakoze.
Thank you.
Nkuko nabibabwiye nitwa Karenzi Nasoni, navutse mu mwaka wa 1900.
Nasoni Karenzi. I was born in 1994.
Navutse mu mwaka wa 1964.
I was born 1964.
Jenoside bana mfite imyaka 30, mfite abana 2.
When genocide happening, I was 30 and I had 2 children.
Mfite n'umudamu. Ku itariki 9 rero uruhare nagize muri jenoside ku itariki 9
on 9th, my role in genocide.
Mbere y'ubu jenoside itaraba nari umuhinzi, navukiye mu rugo rw'ababyeyi 2 bari bifashije badakennye kandi badakize.
As you have said, before genocide happening, I was a farmer. I was in my family, helping my father in farming.
Muri 1994 rero ku itariki 9 nagize uruhare muri jenoside.
In 1994 on 9th, I played a significant role in genocide.
Jewe ubwanjye nitabiriye inama yo gushishikariza kwica Abatutsi.
I remember I attended several meetings of planning how to kill Tutsis.
bari bahungiye kuri paruwasi ya Rukara.
Then those Tutsis were escaped to Rukara parish.
Hari abantu benshi bari bageze mu 8,000 hagati y'8 n'10.
There were very many Tutsis, around 8 to 10,000.
Hariho n'ababyeyi ba Rutikanga bari bari akaba niho baguye.
That is even where Rutikanga's parents were, and that is where they died from.
Uwo ku itariki 9 rero z'ukwezi kwa 4 twemeje inama yemeje yuko tutera abatutsi bari bahungiye kuri paruwasi.
Then the meeting I attended on the 9th concluded that we have to attack the Tutsis on the church.
Turabatera, nanjye icyo gitero nari nkirimo. Twari dufite
We
intwaro
attacked
gakondo.
them. I was among the killers who attacked them. We had several traditional weapons.
Twari dufite amacumu, dufite imihoro.
We had spears, machetes,
dufite amagrenade.
Grenades, and
twaragiye rero tugota aho bari bahungiye kuri paruwasi.
So we went, we surrounded them. The whole parish was surrounded by us.
Ariko tugenda twari twabwiwe ko dukora iminota 30 yonyine.
Then we were given an order by the leader of the attack that
iyo
we have
minota
to
30 twagomba kuba turangije abatutsi
only
bose
30
bari bahari.
minutes. So we hoped to finish all the Tutsis in 30 minutes.
Twari twabwiwe ko abatutsi bose bari aho mu minota 30 baba bashizeho.
We were given an order in the meeting that to have exterminated all Tutsis on the church in 30 minutes.
Tugezeyo rero ibyo twabwiwe twabishyizwe mu bikorwa, ariko kubera ko twasanze bakiri hanze batarajya mu mazu.
Reaching there, we implemented what we were told.
Hari hakiri kare, hari hagati ya 11 na 12.
It was still early, around 5 to 6 p.m.
Bahise banyanyagira tubura ukuntu tubigenza.
Then so many Tutsis ran away from the church. Then our target of killing them in 30 minutes was challenged.
Ariko munsi hagwa abantu bageze kuri 13.
But exactly at that time we killed 13 of them.
Minota 30 irangiye twasubiye aho twari twaturutse.
After 30 minutes we went back where we were from, as we were given as an order.
Kubera ko icyo gitero cyari gipfubye, ubwo abari batuyoboye bagiye gutegura ikindi.
Then we felt that our mission has failed. We went back to reorganize and prepare another strong attack.
Ibitero byagiye bikomeza ku itariki 10, 11, 12.
Several attacks kept on
no kuri 16,
like on 11, 12, 13,
kugeza kuri 15.
Until 15th of April 1994.
Kuri 15 nge nibwo nahunze mungira mu gihugu cya Tanzania.
Then on 15th I learned that the freedom fighters are about to reach the place, and then I escaped to the neighboring state of Tanzania.
Twaciye mu ishyamba ry'Akagera duhinguka.
Then we passed through Akagera National Park
Tanzania.
And we reached to Tanzania.
Bwari mu buzima bugoye, nta miti twari dufite, nta mazi.
Very hard life. We used to move in the forest without water.
Ingaruka za jenoside tubatangiye kuzifata.
Any kind of treatment, and then we have started now facing the effects of what we were doing now.
Tanzania rero twamaze imyaka 2 n'igice tugaruka mu Rwanda.
We spent 2.5 years in Tanzania, and then later on we were brought back to our nation.
Bigoye kubera ko ibyo twari twarakoze twarabitekerezaga tukumva ntabwo twagaruka.
But it was very hard for us to come back. As we were thinking about what we have done. That was very terrible.
Icyo gihe abantu benshi bariyahuye.
some of us decided to commit suicide instead of resettling back to our country where we have killed so many people.
abandi bitwikira mu mazu.
Then the others decided to burn themselves inside their house instead of coming back to Rwanda.
Ariko jye naragarutse ngera mu gihugu kubera rero ibyaha twari
But me, I
twarakoze
decided to come back to the country.
baramfashe
Then
baramfunga.
because of what we have done, I was arrested and imprisoned.
Bamfunga imyaka 7.
I was sentenced for 7 years.
Ariko hashize imyaka 2 ndi muri prison nibwo natekereje
But
ibyo nakoze.
when at my second year in prison, I thought about what I have done.
Nsanga nta bumuntu nagize.
Then I realized that I have done something bad against humanity.
Ubwo nahise nsaba imbabazi ndirega, ariko twasabaga
Then I
imbabazi tuzi ko nta
confessed
mbabazi
my
tuzabona.
Lord. However, I was not pretending to be forgiven.
Jye nabikoze ari ukwihutisha igihano cyanjye kugira ngo niba ndaswa bandase, niba ari wicwa banyice.
Then I confessed in a way of quickening my punishments. I was thinking that I'm going also to be shot down and die as I have killed others also.
Ntabwo nari nzi ko nzahabwa imbabazi.
I was not, I think I did not merit to be forgiven.
Ngiye kumva numva barampamagaye bati sohoka utahe.
Then one day I had leaders calling my name to come and join my community again.
No gusohoka gutaha nabyo byari ibibazo.
Then going back to the community was also very challenging to us.
Ko gutaha uzi ibyo wakoze, abantu wabikoreye bariho kandi bapfushije abantu babo.
About what you have done, that you are going to go back to the community and meet some people whom you killed, the relatives, and
byari ibintu bigoye cyane.
It was very terrible for us sincerely to come back to the village where we have killed people.
Naraje nsubira mu muryango nyarwanda.
I came and joined the community.
Ariko nca mu nkiko gacaca.
But I passed through local judgment called the Gacaca.
Kubera rero ko giye nari narireze naravuze ibyo nakoze byose.
Now, because I have confessed my role in genocide against the Tutsi, I told the truth about what I have done.
Ntabwo byangoye kuburana kuko ntabwo nagomba kuburana kuko narabyemeraga.
So I was not supposed to say so many things because I have accepted everything.
Bampa igihano cyari gikwiranye n'igihe nari maze muri gereza.
Then I was given a punishment that is equal to what I have, to the time that I have spent in prison.
Ubwo narafunguwe nyine nk'uko nabivuze, ariko mu bintu bigoye kubana n'abantu twari twarahemukiye.
Then, as I said before, I was released from prison, but the burden ahead was to see how will I survive with people whom I killed members.
Nibwo rero naje guhura na Rutikanga.
Then I remember one time I met Rutinkanga.
Ambwira ko twakongera tukabana.
Then he asked me that we can now live together again.
Noneho ndabimwemerera ariko byari bigoye kugira ngo mbimwemerere kuko numvaga
I have accepted, however it was very hard for me to believe in that.
numvaga bidashoboka.
I thought it is impossible living. with the person whom I have killed parents.
kuko nari nzi umuryango we ko washiriye muri paruwasi.
I really knew that his family died on the attack we sent on the parish.
Kandi nawe nzi ubumuga yahakuye.
And I knew how he was injured by the attack that I was in.
Numvaga rero ukumbeshya kugira ngo nawe azihorere.
I thought Albert is just lying me for me to approach him and then he get the best way of revenging over me.
Narabimwemereye tubikora ari ukugerageza.
I have accepted that we are going to try it.
Kuko ntabwo namwizeraga ko ibyo ambwira ari ukuri.
But I was not trusting in what he was telling me.
Noneho nanjye nshaka abandi bantu bari bemeraga ko bishe abantu.
Then I said that I'm going to find my fellow perpetrators who confessed their law.
Tubahuza n'abo biciye.
Then that I was suggesting my fellow former perpetrators that we are going to make them meeting with people whom they killed the relatives.
Gufata umuntu wishe umuntu ukamuhuza n'uwo yiciye ni ibintu bigoye, ni intambara ikomeye.
It is very hard taking a person who killed others relatives and then you bring them together. It is very hard and beyond human understanding.
Habaye amahugurwa menshi.
There were several trainings.
Amahugurwa y'isenamutima, mvura nkuvure.
Trainings about trauma healing, treat me and I treat you.
We have with us today as well Francois Rukwaya, was during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis. He was 27 years old and he was married. He did not have children at that time. And before the genocide, he was a farmer. When the genocide started, he was involved in killing Tutsis, a role that he later confessed to. He participated in attacking Tutsi hidden in the neighboring Rukara Roman Catholic Church, where many Tutsis, including Albert's parents, went for asylum and were murdered. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us, please, your experience, what you were responsible for during the genocide against the Tutsis?
Wadusangiza nawe ubuhamya no ruhare wagize muri jenoside yakorewe abatutsi.
Murakoze. 94 nakoze jenoside. Baje gusaba imbabazi mwebwe munyumvishije.
I participated in the genocide against the Tutsi. First of all, I also ask for forgiveness to you also who are listening to me now, right now.
Nitwa Rukwaya Francois, mvuka mu murenge wa Rukara, akagari ka Rukara.
My name is Rukwaya Francois. As you said, I was born in Rukara village.
Jenoside yabaye mfite umugore nta mwana ndagira, niyo nkishaka umugore.
Genocide happened when I did not have a child, but we were married.
Mbere jenoside gatoya habaye inyigisho z'urwango rwo kutwangisha abatutsi.
In the early period before genocide happened, there was propaganda for us to really hate Tutsis.
Kubera amashyaka menshi yadushyuhije mu mutwe atwereka abatutsi ari babi dukora jenoside.
Existence of so many political parties.
N'imbaraga kubera ko bari batwumvishije ububi bwabo.
Challenge and they were spreading a propaganda against Tutsis, and we were convinced that they have to be exterminated.
Ngere ku itariki 8 nari nicaye iwanje mu rugo ku muharuro mbona igitero giturutse
on
gahini.
8th of April when I was sitting to my home.
Kuko nari ntuye hari hagati ya segiteri ya gahini n'iya Rukara.
Then
Cyegeranye cyane.
I saw an attack from our neighboring sector of Gahini.
umukonsiye wabo wa Gahini ahita ampamagara ati vayo hano umbwire igituma abatutsi barimo guhungira Karubamba ntubatangire.
Then the leader of that sector called me and asked me one question: why do we have Tutsis escaping and you did not arrest them and kill them? What are you doing?
Ubwo yahise ampamagara ati vayo hano ndagenda ndamubwira igihe nari ndi jyenyine nta wundi muntu wari kubafasha kubatangira.
He called me and I said that I was alone, so no one to help me stopping them. That is what stopped me from arresting them.
Ubwo twarakomeje tugiye guhiga basigaye mu bihuru turabafata 10 turabica.
Then I joined them, we went in the bush, we found there 10 Tutsis, we killed them exactly at that time.
Tumaze kubica abandi barirukanka baradusiga ku itariki.
Then after killing them, another big number ran away and
Ku itariki 10
catch them at that time.
tuvumbura abandi turabirukankana bahungira ku kiliziya, ariko natwe tubasha kugera ku kiliziya tubona turi bakeya, ntitwagira icyo dukora turatatuza gutegura ikindi gitero kizajyayo.
We found other Tutsis and they ran away and they reached the church. But we have seen that there were very many at the church that we cannot kill them at that time, and we went to look for the support from so many other killers.
Ubwo nagarutse mu rugo twegera inzu zabo zasigaye n'amatungo yabo, inka zabo turazirya, amatungo yabo, inzu zabo turazisenya.
We went to their home, we destroyed their home, we ate their livestock like cows.
Mu minsi mikeya ubwo inkotanyi zari zihageze mu tariki 15 duhita duhungira Tanzania.
In a few days, like in the 15th of April, Inkotanyi freedom fighters reached the place and we directly fled to Tanzania.
Mu guhunga ntabwo byaba bitworoheye kuko natwe twageze mu ishyamba ducikamo ibice bibiri, habaho abadutse interahamwe hari n'impunzi.
Not easy because when we reached in the forest, we started even not having the same understanding, and as we were learning, we are not in the same, we did not have the same idea.
Zikadusegera mu nzira zikatwambura ibyo dufite, nibyo Tutsi twari twatwaye nabyo bakabitwambura. Inkotanyi nyuma ziraturasa, imbere nabo batwambura, tubura iyo dukwirwa, bamwe tubaburira mu nzira twahunganye.
Have some properties rooted from Tutsis houses, then it became a challenge when we started even to have some challenges of people wanting what we have rooted from Tutsis home.
Tugeze Tanzania twamaze imyaka 2 n'igice duhita tugaruka.
We escaped to Tanzania where we spent 2.5 years.
Batugara tutabishaka kuko twari tuzi ibyo twakoze ko tuzabizira.
Because of the bilateral agreement between the two states, then we were requested to resettle back home, and but it was not in our will because we knew that we are going to be judged. And
nageze mu Rwanda bita bamfata baramfunga. Mfungwa imyaka 10.
When I reached in Rwanda again, I was arrested and I was sentenced for 9 years.
Ndi muri gereza nibwo naje gutekereza nti ese kuko iriya ni jenoside narayikoze koko, nganira na mugenzi wanjye Ukarenzi Nasoni tubiganeho twandika rwihishwa.
Kept on thinking about what I have done. Then I tried to approach Mr. Nasoni Karenzi. We talked about what we have done. We started wondering whether we have committed genocide against the Tutsis, and
kuko iyo bene wacu bamenyaga ko mwanditse baraguhigaga bakaba bakwica, ubundi ugakubitwa, ubundi se bakaba nakwica.
Then we will remember that in the prison, it was a challenge when you said, when other prisoners, when they know that you are going to confess your Lord, they could also kill you because they knew that you are going to be outside in a community and you will say what they have done. So in prison, it was not easy to confess because you could be killed by your fellow prisoners who did not want to confess.
ubwo nari maze kwandika maze kwemera icyaha naje guhura na Rutikanga duhurira ahantu bita Nyagatare twaragiye kubakayo gereza duhuye mbona uko acumbagiye kandi namusize ari muzima mbaza uyu mugabo Karenzi ati uyu muntu ugera gutya n'ubwo ngo nzabana nawe.
After being released from prison, then I met Rutikanga in a place called Nyagatare. I found how he was disabled, handicapped by our activities. Then I asked Karenzi if this is the person that we think we shall live with him in peace.
Ubwo mu minsi mike baje kuturekura turaza tugeze
in a few days
mu ngo iwacu
we were brought back to our former homes.
Ab'inkiko gacaca bankatira imyaka 15 basanga amazemo 9
then
itandatu njya kuyikora tishi.
Courts and the local Gachacha courts decided that I have to be sentenced for 15 years. Then because I spent 9 years in a prison, they said I have to serve other 6 years in the public works.
Nyirangije naraje nza mu cyaro aho nari ntuye mpageze bimbana ikibazo gikomeye kurebana n'abantu nahemukiye.
6 years of public works, I was resettled back to my village, which was a challenge to face people whom I killed, the relatives.
Kunaje guhura n'abantu Karenzi Nasono yaje kumbwira ko hari komisiyo yo y'isanamitima.
Then I met people and Nasoni Karenzi told me that there is this initiative of healing wounds.
Abanze kubimbwira ngeyo ariko numva ntabishaka mvuga nti Karenzi urambeshye n'ubwo sinzi tugiye ntabwo turi bugaruke turapfa ntabwo tugaruka.
After Karenzi told me, I said, Karenzi, what you are saying, you don't know that so maybe you are deceiving me. We shall not have a chance of talking to these people because they know what we have done.
Ngezeyo numvishe amahugurwa hari ndayakurikirana ntangira kurugenda numva ngarura ubumuntu negerana n'abandi abacitse ku cyumbashe kuvugana nabo.
It was very hard for me at the first time, but as I kept approaching them in these initiatives, I felt that I was forgiven. Then I started talking to them. That is how I come to realize that maybe I have to fit in a community and live with others.
Albert, if you don't mind, we're gonna move on from Francois.
Yes.
Yes. I have a question for Albert Rutinkanga. Tell him thank you. Tell Francois thank you so much. We will ask him questions shortly.
Francois, urakoze cyane, reka avugisha na Albert, urakoze cyane, aragushimira.
Urakoze nawe.
Albert is hearing you?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you.
Albert, you founded Peace Education Initiative in Rwanda, the idea being that you would bring together the perpetrators of the genocide against the Tutsis together with the victims. Now, listening to the stories of all of our guests today, in particular the perpetrators, I have to tell you, it's the most difficult thing that I've ever heard in an interview. And I was holding myself back from tears, from crying. My question to you is, how did you manage to forgive Karenzi Nasson and Francois Rukwaya, knowing what they did to you and your family, hearing their stories? Where did that forgiveness come from?
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Actually, forgiving Karenzi, forgiving Rukwaya on my side, it was not easy at all. Actually, when you find someone who have who doesn't have parents and 60, 70 people died, it was very complicated on my time. I spent like 15 years without forgiving those people involved in killing my family. It was very complicated on my side. Actually, I kept searching, why do people kill others? And I got to the level of understanding how human beings commit atrocities to the extent of dehumanizing and exterminating others because he died. He wrote humanity first. Actually, he deserves forgiveness. Forgiveness, actually, on my side, it's a process, it's individual, but it's possible. Actually, on my side, I forgive them for healing my strategy, because when I live with anger and bitterness, destroy me. The good thing which I can do is like look for strategy of living, forgiving those people involved in killing my family was a solution as a healing strategy, and avoiding a cycle of violence. It took me time, because actually when it comes to commemoration and I see those people killing my family, it was very complicated to forgive. I did as a healing strategy to move on, because I cannot. Actually, we have to think of tomorrow of our children, because when you keep the anger and the bitterness, kill you inside, and the life should be going on. That is only why actually, as healing myself, I choose better to forgive Karenzi and Nason for preparing my own future. Thank you.
Can you explain to me what forgiveness feels like? When you look at those two, when you deal with those two, you work with those two, is there any anger toward them whatsoever?
On my side, actually, it took time. Can you imagine when you find someone who killed your parents, you cannot forgive him automatically. It took time. You have to cry. You have to be patient. Sometimes on a certain point, you can think of revenge. But when forgiveness it's possible, it's difficult, it took time, but it's possible. Actually, forgiving Karenzi is like preparing my future, because when I make revenge to Karenzi or to Rukwaya, I can go on jail and suffer again. As a survivor who don't have a family, I have to look for the strategy of living. The strategy of living, and even in my future, is to forgive, is to look for about the future, about my children, about my plan. Actually, even those intellectuals who are in the research of psychology say that when you forgive, you heal yourself. It's something you do to help yourself for not being sick about the anger and the bitterness which can destroy you. You have actually to live a good life. When you live a good life, you think about forgiveness and about your future. Actually, even when you talk about forgiveness, it doesn't mean that you forget. You cannot. I cannot forget my parents. I cannot forget my extended family. And again, when we talk about forgiveness, justice must be there. Justice must be there. Offender should be held accountable of what he did. But also, as survivors, we can think about our future for not continuing with the anger and the bitterness, which sometimes destroy us and make us sick. we have to look for how we can look for about the future, working together in building peace, and how even can help each other in terms of peace building and creating harmony society where social cohesion, people can live in harmony without any kind of hatred.
I'd like to ask Francois Mahongayer a question. Albert, the translator, if you can help me with that. It's
Yes, I hear you. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. It's the same question as I asked Albert. How did she manage to forgive people, individuals who had raped her repeatedly and murdered members of her family? Where did that forgiveness come from?
Francoise arashaka kukubaza nawe ikibazo kimwe nk'icyo yabajije Albert. Ni gute wabashije kubabarira abo bantu bagufashe ku ngufu bakaguhemukira bakica, bagufashe ku ngufu inshuro nyinshi zishoboka kandi bakanaguhemukira bakakwica umuryango? Ni gute wabashije kubabarira, ingufu zo kubabarira zavuye?
murakoze. Ingufu zo kubabarira aba bantu zavuye cyane giye ku nyigisho nigishijwe n'umuryango wo kubaka amahoro.
Thank you very much. The power to forgive these people who killed my people came from several trainings that I got from these organizations,
washinzwe na Albert,
especially Peace Education Initiative Rwanda that was created by Albert.
kubera ko jyewe nari mfite ibikomere bikomeye cyane ku buryo nari narakomeretse.
Because me, I had several wounds.
Nta bumuntu niyumvagamo, nta cyizere cyo kubaho nari mfite.
I did not feel that there was no humanity in me. I was hopeless. I did not have a hope for the future.
Ubwo rero nubwo Albert byamugoye kugira ngo ninjiremo nanjye bikangora, ariko byatumye
So it was very hard for Albert to make me joining the organization, and even hard to me to approach them.
uyu muryango watumye mbohoka mfunguka umutima, kuko umutima wanjye wari winangiye, wabaga.
Through the teachings of this organization, at least I felt that I have to go forgive. My thought came to a positive change that I have to forgive through several trainings that I got from this organization.
Byatumye rero umutima wanjye ufunguka, mbasha kwiyakira bitewe n'amasomo nabonye. Niyo mpamvu nababariye kugira ngo
through several trainings, as I'm saying, I accepted first what happened to me.
kubera nanjye nari mbonye abantu bansaba imbabazi kandi numvaga narihebye, nariyanze, nabo numvishije kubabarira cyo cyambohoye.
Also proud to have people asking me for forgiveness. Then I felt that it is very obvious that I have to forgive because they took an initiative of asking for the forgiveness.
Ikindi mbonye umuryango munini wapfuye nkasigara, byanteye nabyo imbaraga zo kubabarira kugira ngo mbohoke umutima wanjye nabo mbabariye babohoke.
Then after seeing a big number of my family members that died, I also come with an idea that I have to forgive, because for me to survive was a reason. There was a reason for me to survive. And among those reasons, I also have to forgive.
Rero ndashimira umuryango wo kubaka amahoro wahuje abantu bishe n'abiciwe, tukabasha kwiyubaka, tukaba twubatse n'abandi.
I congratulate Peace Education Initiative Rwanda for this initiative of reconciliating people, and through their program we came to this decision of forgiving people. I thank this organization.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to ask a question to Kayonza, please. Thank you, Francois. Karenzi, can you
Karenzi,
hear me okay?
Hano?
Yep.
Karenzi uramwumva?
Ndamwumva.
Okay. Karenzi,
Is hearing.
do you deserve to be forgiven?
Karenzi, utekereza yuko ukwiye kubabarirwa?
Oya.
The answer is no. In my thoughts, I feel I cannot be forgiven.
Can you tell me more about that?
Ushobora kumubwira birenze ko icyo gisubizo utanze? Ushobora
Impamvu twakoze ibintu bikomeye by'indengakamere.
The reason to my answer,
Kugira ngo rero
it is a big no, because we have done something terrible.
Kugira ngo rero nakire imbabazi.
So we don't merit forgiveness.
Byarangoye.
Accepting to be forgiven was very hard to me.
Kuko numvaga ibyo nakoze ntabihererwa imbabazi. Ariko kubera
Because I felt that what I have done did not merit to be forgiven.
kubera ubuyobozi bwiza bwaremeye bumpa imbabazi.
But because of good governance and other people, they accepted to forgive me.
Cyane cyane nshima n'abantu bacitse ku icumu kuko twabahemukiye ariko bakirengagiza ibyo twabakoreye bakampa imbabazi.
I even want to take this opportunity to deeply thank the survivors who went beyond what we have done to them and accepted to forgive us.
Kuko abantu bose nasabye imbabazi ntawigeze anyuma imbabazi.
Because many survivors that I asked for forgiveness, none of them refused to forgive me. So I have to thank them.
Kandi nkabizeza ko nanjye nahindutse.
So I also I can assure them that Karenzi you see today has changed, is not the Karenzi perpetrator.
Ntabwo nkiri Karenzi wo muri 1994. Ntabwo nkiri Karenzi wo muri 1994.
I am no longer Karenzi of the 1994.
Ni ukuvuga ko Pawulo yahindutse, Sawuli yahindutse Pawulo.
As we are in the East, we know that even Saul changed into Paul and started preaching the good news.
Murakoze.
So thank you.
Thank you. I must tell you, Karenzi, it's very, very, very hard for me to listen to. But on the other hand, I think to myself that what you're doing there is proper. It's correct. You're trying to make things better.
Ati ibyo wakoze rwose nagira ngo nkubwire yuko ibyo wakoze ari ibintu byiza. Wakoze ibintu byiza rwose nanjye ndabigushimiye.
Murakoze.
I want to ask Rukwaya a question, please. Transfer Rukwaya. If you can handle the mic.
Arashaka kubaza Rukwaya ikibazo.
Rukwaya, let
Yes.
me ask you, do your children know what you've done?
Rukwaya nkubaza ikibazo. Abana bawe baba bazi ibyo wakoze?
Abana banjye ndabibabwira kuko niyo mvuye mu rugo mbabwira aho ngiye kubera ko nibo nabanje gusaba imbabazi.
Of course, they know it because when even I am leaving home to this peace initiative, I tell them where I'm going, and at the beginning, for me to feel that I was forgiven the community, I was forgiven by the community. I mean, I first started asking for forgiveness from my children because they were the first to forgive me about what I have done as their father.
mbere yo kugira ngo ujye gusaba ahandi imbabazi uhera mu rugo rwawe ukababwira ibyo wakoze kuko babona gufunze bakaba bavuze ko urengana, ariko iyo uje ukababwira ibyo wakoze, niyo ugiye mu mashuri ugasangamo n'umwana wawe urimo ntugire isoni zo kubivuga cyangwa ugira ipfunwe ryo kubivuga, urabivuga akabyumva ku buryo azabona uko abyirinda nawe.
Of course, before going asking for forgiveness to the community, we have to tell the truth, our family members, including the children, because when you are in prison, your children think that their father is innocent. So you have to really tell them the truth about what you have done. Then you ask for forgiveness from them. Yeah, then you go ahead with the community.
Ni ibintu biruhanya cyane kumva ubwira umwana wawe ko wakoze ibi, ariko nta yindi nzira ushobora kunyuramo, urabimubwira kugira ngo abone uko abyirinda.
But there is no any other possible way. You have to tell them what you have done for them to know the truth.
Murakoze.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Albert Rutinkanga, let's talk about your organization a little bit more so. And I'd like to tell our listeners and viewers at this point that at the bottom of our panelist screen, you will see a link that'll take you to the website of this organization, Peace Education Initiative Rwanda, and give you the opportunity to donate to it. And I would suggest very strongly that you consider donating money to this nonprofit that Albert Rutinkanga has established. And I say so after going through much of this interview because the world is a bit of a mess. And there are so many people out there who are perpetrators and victims, and nothing changes after the war is over, after the battle is over. And I think what Albert is doing is trying to rectify that situation. It's not easy. I don't understand it entirely. I really don't. And I know that many of my viewers will question the validity of this. But at the end of the day, when you look at the problems in the world during war, after war, and how the victims and perpetrators do not come together ever, the question you have to ask yourself, is that the right way? So Albert Rutinkanga, tell us a little bit about the three main programs that you operate within your village.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Actually, PCD Initiative Rwanda, we have three programs, as I said. We have peace building, livelihood, and youth empowerment. Actually, PCD Initiative Rwanda have peace building. In peace building, we try to facilitate the community members and the youth. Where in community members, we facilitate in peace building, conflict resolution, training on healing and storytelling. Currently, we have community members of 1,400. We provided them training on conflict resolution counseling, because most members of our communities are the genocide survivors. Some of them don't have children. Some of them are women who are raped, like Francoise, living with the HIV/AIDS, and the former perpetrators. We try to facilitate in terms of peace building and help even the younger generation to visit the memorial, to learn how genocide was prepared, how it was executed, and the effect of genocide to Rwandan community. Actually, as far as the concern Peace Initiative Rwanda, you cannot talk about peace, you cannot talk about reconciliation, you cannot talk about social cohesion when people are hungry. Providing basic needs is very crucial and is very imperative as a concern Peace Initiative Rwanda. That is only why we have a program of livelihood. In the livelihood, what we do, we facilitate our community members in providing basic needs like paying health insurance, providing livestock, building kitchen garden for fighting malnutrition. Again, we help our community members to rehabilitate houses, because most of the houses of genocide survivors were demolished. We rehabilitate their houses. with support from Woven Foundation based in America. And then we have already put them on saving and lending groups, where actually initially we started them to help them, saying that instead of giving fish, you teach how to fish. We have then put them on a saving and lending groups where we give small money for them to start small income generating activities, which can help them on a daily basis. And apart from that, we help the community members for their children in schools to have scholastic materials. Scholastic materials are very important because when you equip them with scholastic materials, it helps students to learn effectively. We have started actually to have vocational training where we help the community members in tiring. For those who don't go to school, they can have vocational training. After that, we can give them tools, resources where they can help them in working on their own work. And then, apart from livelihood or socioeconomic development, we have the program of youth empowerment. Yes, we can talk about the community, but very important to think about the youth. We equip the youth with critical thinking, empathy, and a personal responsibility to reject violence. We have clubs in different schools. Those clubs, facilitated by a teacher, we collaborate. We equip them with human rights education, where they can understand the value of human rights, where they can stand for human rights and are fighting anyone who can violate human rights. And we equip even the youth to see how they can use the talent to spread the peace, fighting of violence, and see how they can be champion of humanity, working in building peace and fighting any kind of discrimination. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed.
All right. Thank you very much. In conclusion, Karenzi, I wonder if you could
dusoza Karenzi.
ndakumva.
tell our viewers, tell our listeners, for people who have done terrible things in life, what is the best thing for them to do to try to make things better?
Aravuga ati tubwire nk'abantu bakoze ibibi bishoboka, tubwire ni iki cyakorwa cyangwa ni iki wakora kugira ngo ejo habe heza.
Abantu bakoze ibyaha by'indengakamere, icyo nababwira ni ugupfukama kandi bakemera ibyo bakoze.
I can first tell them to accept what they have done, to recognize their role in what they have done, which is very terrible.
Ni ukuvuga ngo ni ukwicisha bugufi, habanza kwemera ibyo bakoze.
Then they have to stay humble and accept what they have done.
Nicyo cyatuma abantu bahinduka ku buryo jenoside itazongera kuba buri muntu akubaha mugenzi we kandi akamuha agaciro.
We can also preach how to value humanity, to preach the social interdependence and the social cohesion for people to stay together in peace and learn how we can live peacefully with the others.
Thank you. Francois Mahangari.
Muhongayire.
For people, Francois, yes. for people who have gone through terrible, terrible things, people committed awful crimes against them like yourselves, what do you suggest that they do if they are able to forgive, to accept the apologies of the perpetrators?
Muhongayire arimo arakubaza nawe nk'umuntu wahuye n'ibyo bibazo bikomeye birimo gufatwa ku ngufu, guhura n'ibyo wavuze byose. Then sorry Avram, you mean that what they can how do they take the forgiveness they have given to perpetrators?
Yes, when people have had terrible things happen to them, as she has,
Yes.
what should they do? What should they draw upon in order to accept the apologies of the perpetrators? What do they need to do?
Hanyuma bahuye n'ibyo bibazo mukeneye ko gukora n'iki mwakora kugira ngo mwakire imbabazi babasabye?
tuzakire
umuntu wakorewe ibintu bibi kuri urwo rwego ni iki yakora kugira ngo yakire, mbega yakire imbabazi z'uri kumusaba imbabazi?
Yego.
Mbega atanga imbabazi, ni iki yakora kugira atange imbabazi ku muntu wamuhemukiye?
ikintu numva umuntu yakora
I think a person can do
ni ukwigisha, kubera ko jenoside yabaye muri 1994 yabaye jenoside mbi kurenza izindi zose.
What a person can do is to recognize that the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda was beyond bearing, and it was one of the very terrible atrocity that happened.
Yabaye mu gihe gito kandi ihitana abantu benshi. Ndumva twakwigisha abantu,
and it took lives of many people.
kwirinda ikintu kibi cyose cyakorerwa umuntu uwo ari we wese, ku buryo ibyabaye muri jenoside bitazongera kongera kuba ukundi no mu isi yose.
We can prevent from any atrocity like this to happen in the world. And
kuko nk'ubu jyewe nangijwe mu ngeri zose, ari ukuvutswa uburenganzira mu bintu byose, ari ukuvutswa ubuzima.
As I said, I faced so many challenges in all fields. I mean, every angle of life, as I said before.
Kandi n'abandi batutsi bose twateshejwe agaciro, turandagazwa.
Other Tutsis were dehumanized, were tortured. So
ndumva jyewe nasaba abantu bose n'isi yose kugira ngo
ushobora kuza ku cyo mwakora noneho kugira ngo mwakire izo mbabazi.
Tuzakire, twebwe tuzakire cyangwa babazakire,
mutange imbabazi. Yego, yes.
icyo twakora.
Yes.
I thank you very much. I have a question for Rukwaya to conclude the interview.
icyo twakora kugira ngo dutange imbabazi.
I'd like to ask a question to Rukwaya.
Yes. Maybe she's still thinking about what they can do to accept the apology from the perpetrators.
That's okay. Tell her thank you so much for her answer. That's okay. I'd like to ask a question to Rukwaya.
Reka baze Rukwaya na.
Ndumva kanshanze.
Rukwaya,
Yes.
What was it like for you to go through this interview?
What he liked to come to this interview?
Ask him what it was like for him to sit here and to hear once again the stories of the victims, Francois' story, Albert's story. What is that like for him today, many years after the genocide? against the Tutsis?
Rukwaya uriyumva ute kuba wicaye hano uri kumva ubuhamya bw'abantu barokotse?
akenshi birangora cyane kubyakira kubera ko bambwiye ibyo babayemo kandi igihe bigizemo uruhare birambabaza. Ikindi bingaruramwo ko nabangarutse.
It is very hard for me to even understand and accept this because I am the one who played a role in this to happen.
Ikindi iyo numvishe tubiganira gutya duhana ibiganiro gutya nicaranye nabo bingaruramo ko ubu muntu bungarukamwo nkumva sinkiri inyamaswa numva aragarutse mu
talks when we are sitting with them. I feel as a human again. So humanity comes back to me, and I feel as a human who must sit with the others and have a talk with the community.
Bikanyongera imbaraga z'uko ejo hazaza hashobora kuzaba heza koko n'abana tubyara nzaba naberetse imbuto nziza. Murakoze.
It strengthens me as even the younger generations that we are producing. I will be happy that I showed them that forgiving and forgiveness is possible and people are supposed to live together.
Is he today, would he consider himself to be a good man?
Ushobora kuvugana naho ko uri umuntu mwiza wahindutse?
Cyane ubundi umuntu mwiza narahindutse kubera ko ibi nakoze ndimo kwigisha abandi ngo batazabikora.
I consider me as now someone who has changed, a good person who is now preaching a news that is different from what I have done. So I want the community to change.
Nkaba mpagara imbere yabo n'abahemukiye nkapfukama nkabasaba imbabazi. Nabo bakaba batangiye kungira icyizere cy'uko nabo narahindutse.
I stand in front of people whom I killed, the relatives, and ask for forgiveness, and they have also developed a trust in me.
Kuko nk'aha nicaye hari undi mugenzi wanjye utabasha kwicara kubera ko atigeze apfukama ngo asabe imbabazi. Murakoze.
For example, someone who participated in killing Tutsis who did not confess his role may not even sit with people and discuss as I'm doing. So it is a sign that I have changed.
All right. Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody who came today, in particular, Albert Rutinkanga. You know, life is short, isn't it, Albert? And we can go through life, you know, doing things that are mediocre, sometimes doing things that are not nice and bad, or we can spend our life trying to find peace and unity amongst our people within the world that we live. And there's such a dark cloud hanging over the world today for a number of different reasons, and people are very sad and often very depressed. This was a very, very difficult interview for me because there's a lot of concepts that are new to me and that I have to think through. But I know for sure that I am so happy that you're alive. And I'm so happy that you have given your energy towards bringing peace to Rwanda and to the entire world. And I hope that as many people as possible watch this interview, Albert, so that they can understand there is a different way in life. We don't have to war. We don't have to be responsible for genocides that kills millions of people, that affects so many others, children who are suffering so terribly because of war. I think what you're doing is magnificent, and I commend you for it. And I ask everybody, please take a look at the link at the bottom of the screen, peacedu.org, and make every effort to contribute to this organization. They also accept volunteers. And I want to thank the panel. I want to thank everybody who was here with us today, because I can only imagine how difficult it must be every time you speak about the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis. Albert, I wonder if you can translate for me.
Okay, arashimira buri muntu wese witabiriye iki kiganiro, ariko by'umwihariko agashimira Rutikanga kuba yarakoze akazi gakomeye cyane, akazi gakomeye ko guhuza abantu no kubaka amahoro. Akabashimira rero muri rusange ko biba atari ibintu byoroshye kuvuga kuri jenoside yakorewe abatutsi muri 1994 ko biba bikomeye. Muri make arabashimira mwese uruhare rwanyu kwa mwemeye mukitabira n'ikiganiro.
Albert Rutinkanga, do you have any concluding words? Any last words?
Sorry?
Albert Rutinkanga, do you have any concluding words? Anything you'd like to tell us before we sign off?
Actually, even myself, my message is thanking. I'd like on my behalf and both of the directors of PCD Initiative Rwanda and my staff, I'd like to thank you very much indeed for coordinating this, and thank everyone who came here. Actually, they know we thought that this interview should be happen on 1 p.m. and then people were patient. And here there is a big team. I'd like to thank Patrick and his colleague for organizing this. Thank you, Albert, for translating. Thank you, Karenzi. Thank you, Francoise. Thank you, Rukwaya, for being patient. Thank you very much indeed for organizing things when in Canada and then when here in Kigali. Thank you for everyone who making sure this event happened. Thank you very much indeed.
All right, folks, we're going to conclude. And, I try to, at the end of all my interviews, sort of create some sort of synopsis, something that we can all work toward here. I think it goes without saying that the idea of forgiveness is perhaps what the world was created for. And I think that our guests today represent that in a way which couldn't express it better. So I thank them once again for being with us. And I would ask you, please, to consider in your life, those individuals whom you should be asking forgiveness from, and those people you should be accepting forgiveness, an apology from. It's not an easy thing to do, but if my guests can do it, then you can too. Thank you for joining. I look forward to being with you once again. Sei gesund, as they say in Yiddish. Go in good health.